President Biden attended a fundraiser tonight at Radio City Music Hall that featured former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and was hosted by Stephen Colbert. Oh, so I guess an ice cream date just means nothing to you? Well, I guess you know which one of us you should call when you need a ride to the airport.
Yes. Well, we know he can't drive himself. That's no longer allowed, is it? It's all a great big circle fest in a hot tub for the Democrat Party. Every outlet is a propaganda outlet for the Democrats. Yes, the biggest fundraiser in the history of American politics, and the news media is applauding money in politics. They love money in politics when it's going to the Democrat Party. The news media does. They give money to the Democrat Party, and then there are all of their in-kind contributions on air and in print, helping out the Democrat Party. Lies of commission, lies of omission. Like the front page story in the Washington Post about Sam Bankman-Fried. And hey, wasn't he Joe Biden's second biggest donor when he was running for president in 2020? Isn't that an interesting coincidence? And he was sentenced to 25 years in prison yesterday. Let's just leave that out. Shh. The most insidious power the media has is the power to ignore. And they're going to ignore a number of things that happened at Radio City Music Hall yesterday with Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. There were some strange things happening. Joe Biden was asked if he's afraid to fly on Air Force One because it's a Boeing aircraft. And with all of their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies at Boeing, everybody is now afraid to fly on Boeing airplanes because they keep having incidents like wheels falling off and door plugs popping out in mid-flight, and pilots veering off of the apron and going into the soft, mushy grass and dirt on the side because they're hiring based on DEI, didn't earn it, instead of on merit. And he was asked, Joe Biden, are you afraid to fly in Air Force One because it's a Boeing aircraft? And he said, I don't sit by the door. That's what he said, I don't sit by the door. And he takes the baby stairs, the baby steps that come out of the belly of the plane. Instead of taking the big boy steps, he's got to take the baby steps because they're afraid he's going to fall down the stairs going to the high up door on the 747. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. And what else did he say, Mike? He said, I don't sit by the door. And it was about a dog. Oh, yeah. He asked about this. He said it's the old, the old Harry Truman line. If you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. And he said, well, I got a dog, and my dog got a Secret Service agent. That's what it's a little joke because his dog, Commander, such a militaristic name, and Commander, and the other one named Major, such a militaristic name, but Commander attacked. How many Secret Service personnel did the dog bite? It's a German Shepherd, and they apparently raised it, trained it to attack federal law enforcement officials. And Uniform Division Secret Service and the Presidential Protective Division Secret Service bit, how many? It was like 11 times or something their dog attacked Secret Service agents, and attacked so many. So if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. He said, I got a dog. My dog got a Secret Service agent. Now, this was apparently streamed on the internet, but you had to pay $25 for it because they're nothing if not pimps, They got that going for it. Where did it, was it on Pornhub? Where did they, had to go on Pornhub and pay your $25 by PayPal or something, and then you could watch the Joe Biden. And I got to tell you, these still pictures, Barack Obama is looking at Joe Biden like he's very concerned, very, very concerned. But since Radu called in, and Radu is a great American, fled communist Eastern Europe and came to the United States. And boy, he's a great American and a Catholic and wonderful. And he's talking about the Jewish vote and all that. The Democrat Party is now anti-Israel. You can't be anti-Israel without being anti-Semitic. The analogy I like to use is like being anti-Japan. You think that Japan does not have a right to exist. But I'm not anti-Japanese because there's only one Japan, and that's where you find a lot of Japanese people. And if you think Japan doesn't have a right to exist, you must think that the Japanese people don't have a right to exist. Same holds true with Israel. If you think Israel doesn't have a right to exist, and I do, I am a Zionist unambiguously and unabashedly, a Zionist. And I've my best girl and I vacationed to Israel, been all over the country. Amazing, amazing place. Look forward to going back again and again, hopefully. Remarkable stuff. But let me share with you from the transcript. We didn't pay the $25 to watch the streaming thing last night, but we're a humble and modest radio program. But listen to this, because Joe Biden was Stephen Colbert, Democrat Party bootlick, multi-million-dollar Democrat Party bootlick, CBS network. He was moderating the event. That's a euphemism. He was fluffing the event is what he was doing. And he put a question to Joe Biden about the protesters that are in front and protesters in front of Radio City Music Hall that were chanting in favor of Hamas and anti-Israel and anti-Netanyahu. So, oh no, I'm not I'm just anti-Netanyahu. Yeah, you're anti-strong leadership for Israel. I don't need to hear any more. I know what it is. But Colbert asked him, what do you believe the United States' role should be going forward to ensure the most peaceful and prosperous future for the people of Israel and for Gaza? And as Radu was correctly describing, you can't have a state living next door like Mexico if their charter calls for your total destruction. For the elimination of the American people, if it were Mexico, the Jewish people, if you're Israel. And they are genocidal racists, Hamas, and Hamas elected Gaza, the Hamas rather, the Palestinians elected in the Gaza, they elected Hamas to be their leadership. Hey, have elections. Israel says have elections, elect your leadership. They elect a genocidal terrorist death cult named Hamas. Then there's the Palestinian Islamic Jihad there and there too, and you got more and more. But you can't live in peace with people that don't want to live in peace. That's the problem, you see. That's the rub. They don't want to live in peace. They want to kill your children and your mother and you. And Joe Biden said something quite shocking. Joe Biden, responding to Stephen Colbert's fluff question, said, there are too many innocent victims, Israeli and Palestinian. Yeah, it's kind of a, in World War II, the poor innocent Germans. And the Democrats, they view the Japanese as poor innocent victims because the Democrat Harry Truman dropped 2 A-bombs on them and ended the war and saved millions of Japanese lives, but never mind the facts. Joe Biden said, we've got to get more food, listen to this now, and medicine supplies to the Palestinians. Sure, because it's the Feed the Enemy of Civilization program that the Democrats are all in favor of. But we can't forget, he said. Now listen to this, Radu, because it surprised us. I think it'll surprise everybody. But we can't forget Israel is in a position where its very existence is at stake. That's right. They are an existential threat. The Democrats like to say that Republicans are an existential threat. That's the opposite of the truth. Hopefully we'll be able to save this great project called the United States of America and prevent the left, led by Barack Obama, from completely eliminating and destroying the United States of America, which would mean the end of civilization on Earth over the course of the next couple of generations. And that's why the left is targeting the United States, and they're making great headway in destroying civilization. But Biden said we can't forget Israel is in a position where its very existence is at stake. You have to have all those people. They weren't killed. They were massacred, Joe Biden said. They were massacred. And imagine if that had happened in the United States and tying a mom and her daughter together, pouring kerosene on them, burning them to death. It's understandable Israel has such a profound anger and Hamas is still there. But we must have, in fact, he says, we must, in fact, stop the effort that is resulting in significant deaths of innocent civilians, particularly children. And don't forget to send a check to Planned Parenthood, right? Because that's the thing. And he's schizophrenic. He's going back and forth. The lack of moral clarity is pretty incredible. George W. Bush back in October was at a public event on stage when he was asked this question, and I thought he provided a question with great moral clarity on this matter. Joe Biden yesterday said, I've been working with the Saudis like the Trump administration was, and Jared Kushner was on cutting a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians after Trump got 3 peace deals between different Arab countries and Israel, and was close to getting the Saudi peace deal, and then Joe Biden blew all that up. But Joe Biden said last night, I've been working with the Saudis and with all the other Arab countries, including Egypt and Jordan and Qatar. Well, Qatar is providing safe haven to the Hamas leadership. They're prepared to fully recognize Israel. This is continuing the work that the Trump administration was doing, fully recognize Israel for the first time. It's the Trump program that we're talking about here. But there has to be a post-Gaza plan. Yeah, the post-Gaza plan is no Hamas. Kill them all, as Stonewall Jackson said long ago. And there has to be a train, right, to a 2-state solution. He's crazy about trains, isn't he? He said the other day that he used to take the train across the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore Harbor, where there are no train tracks, because his brain, she's a no good, that brain of his. But there has to be a post-Gaza plan, and there has to be a train to a 2-state solution. Again, Radu should be the Secretary of State, because there is, Gaza is a 2-state solution. They were given an area in the Gaza, and they have so much of the West Bank, too, that it's so dangerous that you can't go. Well, my best girl and I were in Israel. We were driving around in the West Bank and with a local Israeli. Hey, there's Bethlehem. Let's go to Bethlehem. And he said, yeah, we'll go there if we all want to get killed by the Muslims there. Otherwise, we won't go there. But that's worth noting on this Good Friday, because there's a lot of violent hostility to civilization there and racism, horrible genocidal racism. But Joe Biden yesterday, kind of amazing. They weren't murdered. They were massacred. They were massacred. Imagine had happened in the United States, tying a mom and daughter together, pouring kerosene on them and burning them to death. That reminds me of the Democrat that self-immolated out in front of the Israeli embassy a few weeks ago. Killed himself. He was a Democrat. He was a member of the Air Force, because there are some Democrats in the military, and self-immolation is a new trend with them, too. Aren't they remarkable? Yes, sir. That's the thing about them. But that's quite remarkable. Yeah, and George W. Bush, I think it was back in October, he was on stage, and he was asked about the situation, the war against civilization being waged by radical Islam, and he gave a clear and concise answer. And we almost played it a couple of days ago, but we moved on from that. Now let's see. In the meantime, and in between time, ain't we got fun? Let's go to. Now that's a fun thought. Let's go to Bob calling from Richmond, Virginia. Oh, Bob, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Bob. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. You're Bob. I'm Chris.
Yes, I forget sometimes.
I know, me too.
I wanted to ask you 2 questions.
Yes, sir. 2
questions. When there is a situation like the one with Bankman, and they've donated to the parties, either party, what happens to that money that has a illegal, taint behind it?
The Democrats keep it.
Do the Republicans keep it?
I bet the Republicans keep it, too. I don't know if we've got another example that is like a Sam Bankman-Fried. But again, he was the number 2 donor behind Michael Bloomberg the last election cycle to Joe Biden, millions and millions of dollars, and to the Democrats. And really, that's kind of an easy answer, Bob, and that's they keep it.
Okay, great. All right, well, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
That's only one question, Bob.
Well, I forgot the other one. I'm getting a little old.
That happens to me, too. That's great.
Okay,
God bless,
thanks.
Bob. Yeah, thank you very much. Have a great Easter weekend, Bob. Yeah, what happens with the Sam Bankman-Fried millions that went into Joe Biden's coffers to buy ads so they could lie to people? They keep it. That's no problem. The ill-gotten gains, the tainted money, not a problem. It's politics. And if we had a news media, they might raise an eyebrow. But it's unfortunate that we don't have a legitimate news media scrutinizing powerful public officials. That's all over with. Hey, it's Chris Plant. Excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. Now, a terrible and tragic story out of Washington, D.C. The local Fox 5 station has the story, and the Washington Post does not. D.C. rapper Phil Da Future gunned down in Northwest Dispensary. See, now trans just means transgender, and dispensary just means pot store, where they sell the marijuana. A D.C. rapper was shot and killed in an armed robbery at a Northwest Washington, D.C. marijuana dispensary. Police search for the shooters. The victim's mother told Fox 5's Shamari Stone she's absolutely heartbroken. Now, 41-year-old Philip Pendergast, who performed under the name Phil Da Future with a PH, because Phil is with a PH, and Da, D-A, because misspelling everything is very important to Democrats, worked at the Hot Box Uptown Dispensary on Georgia Avenue Northwest. 2 suspects were captured on surveillance cameras walking through the front door with their guns drawn, demanding property and money. And the mother, very upset, said her son was a very sweet man, 41 years old, working at the store. Happened around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it turns out that the employees didn't fight with him, didn't argue him, gave the robbers everything they wanted. Even though they complied, one of the suspects just opened fire and shot Philip, and he died hours later at a hospital. And there's video of him and all this stuff. It's the marijuana dispensary. They went in to rob the place of pot and of money, and they shot and killed a 41-year-old rapper who worked a job at the pot store. And, in Democrat land, you hear about this and then you go get lunch. You see that a police officer, Jonathan Diller, is shot and killed by a career criminal. And then you have a fundraiser because, it's different being a Democrat. Hey, climate change causes inflation. It's climate change. It's not Joe Biden or Bidenomics. I got this coming up. Now, you may know Bruce Jenner. Do you know Bruce Jenner? The decathlete from the 1976 Olympics, I believe you. Yeah, Bruce Jenner is, I met Caitlyn, goes by Caitlyn Jenner now, not Bruce Jenner. Come on, what's the matter with you? Bruce Jenner and Caitlyn Jenner. I met Caitlyn Jenner at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last year, walking around with Riley Gaines and backing Riley Gaines and women in women's sports and things like that. And Jenner is on the right side of many issues, the correct side of many issues. And Fox News reporting today, Caitlyn Jenner blasts Biden and Obama, praises Trump for respective New York visits. All right, Caitlyn Jenner. Now, 4 current and former presidents were in New York on Thursday for different reasons. President Biden, along with Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, held a star-studded fundraiser. I didn't really see any stars there. At Radio City Music Hall, while Donald Trump attended services for slain NYPD officer. This story actually says Jason Diller, because nobody's good at journalism anymore. His name is Jonathan Diller. But why would they bother getting his name right? Amazing stuff. It's Fox News. Who was fatally shot this week during a traffic stop in Queens. Biden's event Thursday was expected to fetch more than $25 million for his re-election campaign. Yeah, they hate money in politics. No, they don't. They hate other people's money in politics. Or as organizers charged a minimum of $250. Then you could go in and scream about Hamas is good and Jews are bad. To attend, and up to $500,000 for a more intimate, exclusive reception. And $100,000, you could be a guest to get a photo with all 3 presidents taken by famed photographer Annie Leibovitz. So we got all that. Caitlyn Jenner criticized the Democrats while praising Trump in a post on X, which they still write, formerly Twitter. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we understand. He wrote, Caitlyn Jenner wrote, backing the blue should never be partisan. Yeah, but it is, right? But today, Biden was fundraising in New York with Obama and Clinton. An absolute disgrace, Jenner wrote. Proud of both of my friends and amazing patriots, real Donald Trump and NASA executive Bruce. And we played audio from the NASA executive as well for you today, for standing up for a law and order and a family in mourning. So that's Caitlyn Jenner. Backing the blue should never be partisan. But the Democrats have actually made opposing the police because, George Floyd, career criminal and drug addict, fentanyl and methamphetamine and THC in his system when he died of heart failure, of a cardio event, a cardiac failure, George Floyd. And he became such a hero of the Democrat Party. And the police officer is such a villain. And again, see the documentary film for free on Al Gore's amazing internet. Minneapolis Has Fallen, a valuable 90-minute documentary, 90 minutes-ish documentary that will demonstrate for you how frequently we are lied to by politicians and more corruptly by our news media. Minneapolis Has Fallen. And Officer Derek Chauvin was stabbed 22 times in prison. They threw him in prison. And then a Democrat attacked the police officer, Derek Chauvin, and stabbed him 22 times a couple of months ago. The news media and the Democrats could care less. I promise you, more than half would say good, because they're anti-police and pro-junkie career criminal, pro-cop killer, anti-cop, pro-Hamas, anti-Israel. And good for Caitlyn Jenner, right again, all right? Proud of both of my friends and amazing patriots, Donald Trump and the Nassau County executive, for standing up for law enforcement, law and order, and a family in mourning. Good for Caitlyn Jenner, honestly. After attending Diller's wake, Trump emphasized law and order, and we played that for you as well. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, sir. Now, here's a crazy thing out of St. Louis. St. Louis has a lot of Democrats and therefore a lot of murders and crimes. And the mayor of St. Louis is a woman named Tishora, which is not known on any continent. Tishaura, Tishora Jones, and End Wokeness, tweeting out today. St. Louis Mayor Tishora Jones on crime in convenience stores and gas stations.
We have a lot of violence around convenience stores and gas stations. So how can we hold those business owners accountable and also bring down crime?
How can we hold those business owners accountable for being robbed, for being the targets of crime, for being the victims of crime? Now, she might just be such a nitwit that she had no idea what she was saying, like Joe Biden, it's so often the case. But Tishora Jones, the mayor, who's a Democrat and a radical, we got to find out how we can hold the business owners accountable for being the targets of crime. Isn't that amazing? Yesterday, we shared with you a story of the Democrat mayor of Baltimore, who also does not speak well. You know, we should have a minimum threshold for being the mayor of a major American city, don't you think? I think that might be a good idea. And the Mayor Scott, Brandon Scott of Baltimore, had a very clumsy moment when he was talking about the bridge collapsing after the big ship Dolly crashed into it.
We're ignoring all the conspiracy theorists, everyone who's playing bridge engineer at home, who's never even taken a class on engineering.
Who's never even taken a class. And now this is what the Democrats have done, and this is DEI. The mayor of St. Louis, I'm sorry to say, is an African-American woman, and but you got to call powerful elected politicians and officials out when they're being embarrassingly ridiculous. Hold the business owners accountable. And the Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore going online, and he's concerned about people weaving conspiracy theories on the internet. Who cares? You're supposed to be the mayor of a major city where there was just a major catastrophe. And he's attacking people online who have never even taken, that is not a word for Democrats listening along, never even taken an engineering class. This is the United States of America. At least it used to be. Aren't these people extraordinary? Just amazing. Man, oh Manischewitz, I am telling you. Boy, oh boy. Crazy people. Also, Cringe Jean-Pierre blames the Trump administration for a surge in violent crime when asked about the murdered NYPD officer. That's quite remarkable, isn't it? But that's what they do, because we've got a news media that is a gang of Democrat Party fluffers. White House Press Secretary Cringe Jean-Pierre blamed former President Donald Trump for presiding over a surge in violent crime on Thursday after being asked about the murder of an NYPD officer. During a press gaggle aboard Air Force One, Cringe noted that Biden had spoken with New York City Mayor Eric Adams to express his condolences, not the family though, over the murder of Officer Jonathan Diller, who was shot and killed during a traffic stop earlier this week by a career criminal that Democrats kept putting back on the street. After being asked if Biden had spoken with Diller's family, Jean-Pierre, a.k.a. Cringe, said that she had no private communications to share. That means no, he didn't. But said that the president was grieving for them. Sure. She also fielded a question about Trump's crime-related attacks on Biden that elicited the shot at Trump. Just amazing. And when you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the truth is. Just blame Trump. Just blame Republicans. Just blame the other guy. Just deflect. Never take responsibility.
Look, violent crime, and I'm just going to be really clear about here. I'm going to be careful about saying anything about 2024, but violent crime surged under the previous administration, which repeatedly attempted to cut the COPS program, all of their budgets targeted that key funding for the police, and congressional Republicans just proposed doing it again. So this is a president, this is a Biden-Harris administration, have done the polar opposite.
That reminds me of Gurgle. Honestly, I'm sorry, Republicans and Trump were cutting police budgets and police funding? That is a lie so big that no one would dare not believe it.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Gurgle?
Might have been Gurgle. I mean, I got to tell you, that is, you make the lie so big. That's one of the Joseph Goebbels thing, or Gurgle, if you're Al Charlatan. Remarkable stuff. Yeah, it's the Republicans and Trump that were slashing police budgets. That's what happened because Trump is in control of police budgets in Chicago and was when he was president. Presidents are not in charge of police budgets. The city councils and the mayors are in charge of police budgets, and they lie with such extraordinary alacrity. Boy, they are really something. These people. Can you say these people? I think you can. Just amazing. Man, oh man. A headline from The Independent: Black men. Everything is race with these people, isn't it? Black men are poised, that they're the party of the Confederate States of America. Black men are poised to take Trump to the White House. Biden insiders are worried. They're very worried. They're very worried about black men taking Trump to the White House. Just amazing. Yes, sir. Your Democrat Party. But it's okay because don't you know who they are? Let's go take a phone call, Michael. What is that? I know we've got some more audio we wanted to get to too, but there's never enough time, is there? They just don't give us enough time for all the crazy that they give us. I am telling you. Let's talk to Keith, calling from Richmond, Virginia. Keith, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, g'day, Planty. Shout out to one of your cohorts out there you're promoting. I won't say any names. I'm on my route from Richmond to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I just tried to, yesterday, enter my family home of Stewart.
where they put Lee with them because we protected him and loved the guy. And then when I was saying, like, why aren't you letting me in my home and see my history and people, it became, when I begged for help at a church, something about past racism, so to speak. And I'm like, I'm not like that or nothing. What are you talking about? And I was basically escorted not to be allowed on my property with someone with a little pin, which what I was assume is a Mason, or a cop didn't even help me. And I kind of ran away from the cop to the church, to tell you the truth, where they gave me a parking ticket, technically in front of my home, on our street of Franklin. And now I want to go to Washington because I'm involved, sir, in an action of ejectment in Richmond, my Richmond, but it's on our island of Richmond, a little north of you.
I'm not entirely sure exactly what we're talking about, to tell you the truth, Keith. Keith, I lost track back there a little while on the, I think starting with the person that I was endorsing. But you have a great Easter weekend. Have a wonderful Easter weekend. And be a happy man. I hope that you can sort out your difficulties there. And very happy Easter to you. We have as much as we can get in with the time we have remaining. Extraordinary things going on in our country and in our world. Perhaps we'll be able to get to the 102-year-old man in Oakland, California that's being raked over the coals by the Democrat city government there because other people spray graffiti on his fence, and the Democrat city leaders want to fine him thousands of dollars for the vandalism that's taken place. That's an extraordinary story. Yes, sir. And the clock is ticking out loud. How much can we get to before we wrap up for the week and head into our Easter weekend? Now, I like to say that every day is an IQ test because every day is an IQ test. And I've got a story here of someone who has not heeded my warnings. The New York Post has the story. American YouTube star. You can be a star on YouTube. YouTube star who goes by the name Your Fellow Arab, or just Arab, kidnapped in Haiti while trying to meet with gang leader Barbeque, who is a cannibal. An American YouTube star has been kidnapped in Haiti by one of the gangs that have become the de facto rulers of the Beep-hole country, as he was attempting to interview the nation's most notorious gang leader. That's a good idea. See, that's the IQ test right there. Addison Pierre Malouf, known online as Your Fellow Arab or just Arab, traveled from his home in Atlanta, Georgia, to interview Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier, the leader of the notorious G9 and Family gang. I like that they add family. That'll make it a cable TV show later. The G9 and Family gang that has seized control of the government, according to Haiti24.net. But just 24 hours after he arrived in the Beep-hole country, Malouf and a Haitian colleague were taken by members of the 400 Mawazo gang. That doesn't sound very encouraging. The Arab, he looks like he's carrying a few extra pounds, which is not good right now in Haiti, not with these gangs. He's being held for $600,000 ransom. That's $500,000, plus $100,000 for the other guys there. Barbecue gets the $5. And there you go. Well, good luck to you, Arab. I hope that you survive your ambitious encounter. Doesn't seem like a very good idea. Also, an amazing story here. Polling, polling. According to a poll, and Donald Trump posts on Truth Social, there is a new Fox News poll. Turns out that, according to the poll, Joe Biden's greatest accomplishment as president is nothing. Nothing. Biden administration's top accomplishments, people were asked. And the winner, far and away, with 38%, was nothing, which naturally reminded us of the TV show Seinfeld.
I think I can sum up the show for you with one word. Nothing. Nothing? Nothing. What does that mean? The show is about nothing. Well,
It's not about nothing.
No, it's about nothing.
See, and Seinfeld was born, one of the great comedies, sitcoms of all time. And did you see Larry David with his crazy rant yesterday? We'll just ignore him. But yeah, the Fox News poll found that 38% of us voted for nothing when asked what Joe Biden's greatest accomplishment was. 6% say infrastructure. 6% say student debt, which is illegal, violated a Supreme Court ruling, but that's okay. They believe in dictatorship. Not being Trump. That's like a Seinfeld thing, too. 6% said his greatest accomplishment is not being Trump. 6% illegal student debt relief. 6% infrastructure, like that bridge in Baltimore. They got that going. And 19% the economy and inflation, because they like more inflation. 19% like more inflation. But the greatest number, the plurality, 38% say his greatest accomplishment is nothing, because Democrats. See what I'm talking about? Hey, Easter weekend is coming up. Have a wonderful Easter weekend with your family or whoever's family you're going to spend Easter dinner with and Easter weekend with. Have a great American Easter, a great Christian Easter, and God save us all. We're going to need divine intervention, I think, before the Democrats get done with us. Crazy times we're in. God save us all. God bless us all. God bless America.